in Parak Daled and Tomer Devorah. I want to learn a little bit inside. I'm giving a lot of introductions because it's difficult concepts. But let's go over it all inside, and we'll see how the words fit in and go a little bit further. We can go quickly because we've learned the concepts. So in Parak Daled, we're learning about Binah. And Binah, remember, does not refer to its outer manifestation of understanding, but we're talking about the Binah of the Bria, which is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is creating the world. So from the Keser goes to Chachma. Chachma is the source of energy of the Bria, the raw material of the Bria, the ingredients of the Bria, goes into Binah, and there it's processed, something like a mother's womb. And in Kabbalistic language, this Binah is Koidem HaYispashtus. The Yispashtus refers to the world as we know it, the seven spheros, as they get sorted out, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus, everything that we see, touch, feel, everything that's around us. That's the Hispashtus. So that's Visadruk Sachois, the Etzem Bria, but the Bria is in Binah. That's where the process is taking place. You don't have much Hana from Binah because we don't see it. Just like you don't see a seed becoming a plant under the earth. If anything, all you see is a rotting. You don't see anything very impressive. If you would make a glass top to where the seed is and watch what's going on, it would not be very impressive. It would not look like anything good. But that's where the action is really. That's where it's all happening. We like it down in the seven spheres where we take the apple, and the apple is beautiful, and it's a combination of Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, beautiful. Yesod, Malchus becomes part of the earth. But in Binah, that's really where it's happening. So the important thing to remember about Binah is whenever we talk about Binah, you're going back to the source of the Bria, the source of where everything comes from is Binah. That's the most important thing to remember here. And so he starts off, the first thing that we learned is V'hu lashuv b'tshuva. Binah is tshuva. Shein davar chashuv k'mayu. Nothing is more important than tshuva. Why? Mipnei shehi misakenes kol pagam. Because it's misaken pagam. We explained that tshuva does not mean that you're behavioristically fixing something down here. Like let's stick with my metaphor. The apple doesn't look good. Well, the apple doesn't look good. So what do? Cut off a piece of the apple. So now it looks better. Now it's chaser. What you do is find out what's going on in the earth. You fertilize the earth. You do something on a farmer, but you do something in the earth to make the apple out here look better. Here's what you can do here. You find this a lot. I know a little bit about it because I went to Mishnayos of Shvius lately. But the Avodas Ha'adoma is not in the apple. The Avodas Ha'adoma is at the Makar. So that Makar is the dimion to Binah. So when you do tshuva, it's not about fixing this bad habit or that bad habit. It's by getting to the Makar. On a simple level, means fixing up, finding out the Makor. Where is all that coming from? Where you speak Lashon Hara, so you say, okay, I'm going to stop speaking Lashon Hara. I'm going to give $100 to Hamas every time I speak Lashon Hara. You could try to do things to try to figure out how to stop talking Lashon Hara, but the more important thing is to figure out, why do I speak Lashon Hara? What is that insecurity? What is that chasarn in the nefesh here? That I'm always espousing and articulating bad things. I'm seeing bad things. What's up with me that I'm seeing things bad? Even deeper than fixing it up at the Makar, there's something even deeper here, and that is that when you go back to the Makar, it's not even bad. Even something like Lashon Hara is not necessarily bad. It's probably coming from a good place. It's coming from ichpatiyut. It's coming from sensitivity. It could be that it's it's even coming from, it could be it's coming from toiv, but it's not coming out right. It's coming out with an avera. Those that know the deep truth know that the Chafetz Chaim, for instance, the Tzaddik, Hador of the last generation had a proclivity to anger and lashon hara. He said about himself. So he went into this. Why, the reason he was a tzaddik Hador is not because he had no cheshik to talk lashon hara. It's because he was musaki, mamash at the makar and at the makar of Kol Klal Yisrael. So he was a kohen, a kohen. So tshuva is misakenes kol pigam. Goes right into the adama. Which metaphor do you want to use? Goes right into the adama and makes the tikkun there, a tiny little tikkun, a tiny microscopic tikkun at the seed will make a difference in a whole orchard of apples. A tiny little. That's why we do everything. That's why we're so careful. Those in the know do everything Altaris HaKodesh. Chinuch is Altaris HaKodesh. It has to be, Gedola Ma'aseh. We keep learning about on Shabbos of the Pirkei Avos. Rav Chia said that the Sefer Torah that the kids are learning from has to be done b'kedusha v'tara. The nets that are catching the deer to make the cloth has to be done b'kedusha v'tara. Everything has to be done b'kedusha v'tara because we're altering at the seed level. And when you're altering at the seed level, at the Binah level, so every microscopic fix, you really need to wear special glasses with that. Every microscopic fix makes a huge difference in the way that comes out. So if somebody has a chasar namidos, you can put handcuffs on him, but then you're not being masaking the midah, which is why most of the time all the rehabilitation methods of prison and things don't really work. They arrest terrorists here, and then they come out they're bigger terrorists.
It doesn't change the genetics.
It doesn't change the spiritual genetics or the physical genetics. And all he's doing in the jail is trying to figure out how I'm going to get back at everybody when I get out. Right. So this is a toes makar. I don't know what they are supposed to do because the whole genetics is bad. I don't know, but this doesn't help. Locking him up just keeps him off the street. But it doesn't help anything unless it kill him. I'm not saying politically, but I'm just saying that chor is not going to help. But if you could somehow be masakin at the makar, that's different. That's somebody who does tshuva. That's tshuva. So
maybe that's why Hashem has the death penalty, because that does get them back.
No, that's a tikkun at the makar.
Right.
As a makar can be.
Try again as a gilgul. I'm sure that's true. I'm sure that's true, that sometimes there is no eitzah, but misa mechaperes. Mechaperes is such an interesting thing. Mechaperes, the kapara is to clean things up. Isn't this like an explanation of all of life? You have a toothache, you can take a Tylenol. That's what I do. But it's really pretty stupid. I mean, but if you go to the makar, go to the makar, so you have a fix.
Move it.
Or pull it out. Death penalty to this tooth. Hey, Neitza. But to stop take painkillers is you're doing nothing. You're just masking it. So it's not a. So that's tshuva. Tshuva is the makar. The makar is called Binah. Ukamai. Odatamok. It's Binah which does hamtakas hadinim. Let's become very familiar with this term, hamtakas hadinim. What does it mean? You have chesed, you have din. Chesed, gevurah. Gevurah is rough, chesed is nice. What if you're in a place of gevurah, you're in a place of din? Be mamtik the din. How are you mamtik the din? You mix chesed and gevurah together. How do you do that? Hamtakas hadinim? By going up one step to the seed of Binah. So that's what Hamtakas Hadinim is. So whenever you see the word Hamtakas Hadinim, you find it a lot in Hasidic Svarim. Whenever you see Chassid, read Binah. That's how to understand it. You're not going to do anything with the Chesed and Din over here because the Chesed and Din are separate already. So this is Chesed, this is Din. You want to do Hamtakas Hadinim, so go up here. Binah. Get to the seed. And that's what Tshuva does. Shederech HaBinah lemate kol hadinim. Because we said that before the Pirud, before the Isbashtus, before the Bria as we know it, Chesed with the seven spheres right? Lamata, there's Binah where it's all together. All together means there's good there, there's bad there, there's all kinds of things there. That's Hamtokas Hadinim. That's a place where it's din, but it's sweet. It's nice. It's okay. But you can't do anything with it until it comes out and grows. You can't eat the seed. Beautiful. Like, after the shear, you take a look at the ground and you see a rotting seed. They're beautiful. But you can't eat this. You can't eat the seed. It has to grow again. But this time it'll grow better because you did Hamtokas Hadinim. So tshuva means you can go back to a place of Hamtokas Hadinim. Kacha Odom Yashu b'tshuva v'yisakin kol pegam. Tshuva, the lashon is so meduyik, returning back to the makom of Binah. And there, in the makom of Binah, where you have an irvuv, misakin kol pegam. Umisha bahara b'tshuva kol yamav. This is a trick. You don't have to wait till you do an avera. Always do Hamtokas Hadinim. Now that we understand it, always do tshuva. So now we have, if we had a blackboard here, we would say Binah equals tshuva equals Hamtokas Hadinim. Misha mahar tshuva kol yamav goyreim. What are you causing? Shetoyer habina b'chol yamav. And now your Binah is pronounced in your life. V'nimsu kol yamav yemei tshuva. So whenever you want to be mamtik to din, what do? So if you're a Hasidic rabbi, you clap your hands because you're taking chesed and gvura putting together. But if you're not a Hasidic rabbi, so you don't know that trick, you do tshuva. So tshuva is taking things back to their original source where it ain't all bad. That's Hamtokas Hadinim. You're mamtik the din. Dahainu. What does it mean when it's called Yamav Tshuva? You made Tshuva. The Hainu Lich. So you heard it saying, like, you don't have to wait till you do an Avera, or you don't have to wait till the Aseres you made Tshuva. Avoid the holiday rush. You could be Mahara Kol Yamav B'Tshuva. All your days here you make Tshuva, so you can always be accessing the Binah. And let's say we're always like starting fresh. It's a very difficult Avodah, by the way. Sounds nice on paper. It's a difficult Avodah because what it means is that I'm not saying, well, like, just listen, that's just the way I am, or that's what I do, that's my minhag. You can't change.
And it's not just intellectual.
Yeah. I was thinking this in the parsha of the Chukaisai. So it says the Chukaisai Timasu, and the Hisvadu es Havoneseim ves Havonavoseim. So the Ramban says that's a part of the Teichacha. It sounds like you're doing tshuva already. V'yizvadu, and you'll say vidui for your avonos. So the Ramban says that you're going to, things are bad going to happen. He goes, shamnu baganu, achet. It's not going to help. That's part of the Teichacha. But avoinavoseim, and you're going to be misvad on the avoinavoseim. Like, what do you want from your grandfather here? Like, he was a good guy. Like, what do you want? We say all the time. Right? What do you want for your father? Okay, no law. I mean, what's it got to do with the pashut pshat? The pashut pshat in those psukim is that a person is misnatzel by saying, "Look, this is the way I am. My father did this. My grandfather. I'm 7 generations kaisim." Something new? Like, what do you want from me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Anachnu v'avoseinu chatanu v'izvadu es avoinoseinu v'es avoin avoseinu. That doesn't help you, because then you're not getting back to Binah. You're just going back and blaming it on your father.
Yeah. No, but if you do tshuva, then the Kaddish is showing that he will have 7th generation Kaisim. See, I'm trying to work on it.
You could be Masakin. So how are you Masakin? You're going around all those generations back to the beginning. It's not an excuse.
No, if I care, I'm saying.
There's the lesson in Yerushalmi that they caught somebody stealing. So he said, "Ano ganov, avohi ganov, savasi ganov." We're all ganovim. Like, what do you want from me? This is my business, or like Esav said by Matan Torah, like, al char b'chatichya. That's what we do. That's what we do. We kill people. That's what we do. So this is not a way it goes. You have to go back to Binah. The person has to take responsibility for their own actions, not just put it on their father, and go back to the place of Binah. So that's tshuva. Lichlol atzmai b'vina shi tshuva v'mechayav mutarim Now your life is crowned beside HaTshuva HaElyona with the Tshuva Elyon. So, like, the difficult avodah here is to basically, like release everything that's so close to me. Even bad things are close to me. This is my clothing. This is what I am. This is what I do. You know, if you're really dealing, I'm going to say a mashal, like, a lot of times they talk about Bali Tshuva. So Bali Tshuva are not really Bali Tshuva, just like a cultural change. They go from being a Chiloni to being a, maybe there's a Tshuva component to it, but it's not. When we say Bal Tshuva, we don't mean Bal Tshuva necessarily. We mean a Chazer B'Tshuva. Like he decided this lifestyle is better than that lifestyle. What's the difference? The difference is not necessarily going back, it's going forward. It's a good thing. It should be encouraged, but it's not necessarily. It's a better lifestyle, healthier lifestyle, more religious lifestyle. Is more compatible to the Ratzon Tshuva. It's not Tshuva. Tshuva is you're changing your lifestyle. It's not Tshuva. Tshuva means I'm going back and I'm being misaking. And everybody asks us on Tshuva, what do I have to go back for? Leave me alone. What do I have to go back into? I have errors for. Maybe I did that 10 years ago, 20 years ago. What do I have to go? What does the Rambam want from us? The answer is because restart. You can go forward, but you're not going to get rid of all that stuff. The idea is to start from the place of Binah, which is Tshuva, Dahi Binah, Dahi Tshuva, and restart it from there. So as painful as it is to let go of who I am, what I am, what I want to say is if you're dealing with real Bali Tshuva that are really doing Tshuva, it's the initial reaction to the suggestion, whatever, of doing Tshuva is, like, I worked so hard to get where I am. It's not you shouldn't look at it cynically. It's a real thing. Let's say a person, really had a self-esteem problem, so they forced themselves into being a Balgaiva. So now you're telling me don't be a Balgaiva? That's like my whole Hatzlacha is in being able to be a Balgaiva. Or let's say somebody feels like I'm always being stepped on, so they are aggressive. They become aggressive, and they start stepping on everybody. Don't tell me to get rid of that. That's how I live. Achar b'chotichya. So, am I right about this? So the taich is very difficult to get rid of the things that I worked on. I thought they were like very good things because
people don't want to go back.
What?
People don't want to go back.
Go back. This nice nasik is chuyos. He's really feeling like the things that I'm doing wrong are things that I'm doing right. I've worked so hard to achieve this.
So how does it fit in with the Rambam? Because before that.
That's right. That now I'm coming into this as a new person. I'm coming to the Oisa Isha, the Oisa Makim, but I'm different. So if I'm different, I'm not reacting at all the same way.
It's the same situation.
So the truth comes first. You go Bina first, and then you can pass through that Oisa Isha, Oisa Makim.
That's right.
And then it doesn't faze you because you're
a different person. Because you went back to the Bina stage. I just remember, forgive me, excuse me for using such a graphic example, but I just remember, having this picture where I was talking to somebody about the fact that he has to, like there's a certain priestess to this person that I was talking to, a man, not a woman, certain pritzusa. And I said, so he said, well, what, he was sincere, he wanted to do tshuva. So I said, we have to get rid of that. You have to get rid of that. So I remember him telling me, he says, when I was a little kid, so I thought everybody, has, growing up, or 12, 13 years old, girls like him, and they don't like me. So I've done everything for the last 15 years to get women to like me. So I don't know what you like. Usually, if you're hopeless, you're hopeless. But what do you change your aftershave lotion, you dress a certain way, you talk a certain way, you learn a certain language. There's a certain way. Now he's saying, get rid of it all. What do you mean? I'm working my whole life on this nekuda here. Are you talking about the tshuva? So the tshuva means just restart, and you never know. In the new you, they might like you. You might actually be matzliach, but it's getting away from the chitzonius back into bina, into the place of where it's a whole new pnimius, right? We understand it's very a soid amok of tshuva. Urei says Tomer Devorah further. I believe that the Yesodis that we've been learning for the last 2 weeks really are answering every word of this Tomer Devorah, which is otherwise, I don't know how. That tshuva has in it the root of every existing thing. What does that even mean? It means to say that tshuva is Binah, and Binah is the source of everything. Beside HaYovel, how does Yovel get into this? Because Yovel is the time that Avadim go back, go free. And Karka, land, goes back to its rightful owner, or its original owner. I shouldn't say rightful. Everything is back until you are at the beginning of the document, right? So, and you're even taking away the parameters, the setup, Like you're going back, that's what Yovel is. Reset. Ha'aretz nasna yivula. That's what Yovel means. A yibul is before it even becomes a pri. So Yovel means, that's the site of Yovel, is the site of Tshuva. That's why you blow shofar on Yovel. On Yom Kippur. Ba'asir l'chodesh v'shnas ha'Yovel, you blow shofar on Yom Kippur. Says the Chumash. So why? Because Yovel is the site of Binah, and Yovel is the site of Tshuva. V'harei shorish ha'chitzonim. Now let's talk about where did the bad things come from. The chitzonim, klipas, negative things in our lives, rishayim, the evil within us, chitzonim, where do they come from? Where do they come from? So they come from when an embryo is in its mother's womb. It's all there, both the good, the bad, the heart, the lungs, the fingernails, the hair. The extremities which will cut off, and you have to wash nagelbasser after they cut off, and the etzem haneshama, it's all there, but it's all one thing. So if you go back to Binah, the pnimius, the chitzonius, the toiv, the ra, right? What was Eitz Hadas called before Adam Harishon ate from it? Eitz Hadas toiv ra. It's not Eitz Hadas toiv ra. Then it would be ladas. Eitz Ladas Toivara, that you get to know all good and all bad. Eitz Hadas Toivara. It was in a Madreg of Binah until Adam Harishon and Chava did an Aveira. Now they sorted out Toivara. They created the Yitzhahara. That's where it happened. That's where it happened. That was the Ispashtus, where Toivara was created. It's a good thing, a bad thing, basically. But it was all mixed in. How did he do the Aveira if he didn't have a Yitzhahara? Everybody likes to ask that question. How did Adam Harishon do an Haber if he didn't have Yitzhahara? Of course he had a Yitzhahara. It was all in the Binah. It was in an earlier stage. There was Ra, but it was Eitz Hadas Toivara. It was a mixture of Toivara. So he took out the Ra. He sorted out the Ra and made Toivara, two different sides. If you want to do Hamtakas Hadinim, and this is very important in what we're going to learn, you have to go back to before the Chet of Adam Harishon. This is just a little Kabbalah, don't worry about it too much. Who side Nahar Dinor? Nahar Dinor is a pasuk. It's a pasuk in Daniel. It's not a Zohar, it's a pasuk. So it says that there's a Di Nur, that's full of fire, the river of fire. Di Nur, that's what it means. That Daniel Hanavi had a nevuah, and in his nevuah he saw the Kisei HaKavod, and everything coming forth from the Kisei HaKavod, including the river of fire, which was, as Daniel Hanavi put it, which is the source of all Ra in this world. The Chitzonim come from the Nahar Dinor. So there's no Nahar Dinor on this planet. You're not going to find it on Google Earth, but
Gehenna.
You will find it
Gehenna.
on Google.
Gehenna.
Gehenna. Well, it feeds Gehenna.
Yeah.
But it's sourced from the Kisei HaKavod?
Google Shamayim. Let's make a program. Google Earth. Google Shamayim. You do it, David? It's a good idea.
It's dark.
It's a good idea. Google Shamayim. Like you go, what is it? So there's the Nahar Dinor. Zero in. Nahar Dinor, you need a very big program like an infinite. infinite amount of memory here. But you go to the Nahar Dinar. So the point for our purposes is that this Nahar is also coming from the Kisei HaKavod, the source of all fire, the source of all evil, the source of all Ra, the Yetzer Hara, the Chitzonim, the Nebuchadnezzars of the world, Daniel said, the Hitlers of the world. They're also coming from the Kisei HaKavod. There's nothing good about him, Nebuchadnezzar, because they chose all wrong. There's nothing good about Hitler. He chose all wrong. He's a Russia. He's evil. But
it's in the Binah.
It's in the Binah.
Yeah.
If you can be mamtik the dinim and the dinah, and it could have come out differently. So the Nahar Dinar could have come out differently. This, by the way, the Gemara in you don't need Daniel and you don't need Zara. It's a Gemara in Chagiga Yud Gimel Yud Beis, where it speaks about Acher. This is one of the things that Acher Elisha ben Avuya saw. He saw the Matat shrine, which was Yoshev al Har Dinar, on the Har Dinar. Whatever he saw, knocked him off the derech because he didn't see the Makar. He just saw the Ra coming out. Like, oh, there's Ra coming from Shemayim. But he didn't go back far enough to Binah to understand Binah. Understand where it's all coming from. So Binah is the part of our understanding before we know, before we understand, before we have das. The Nishra Sham, it all comes from there. V'yispashet misham, there meaning by the Kisei HaKavod, the higher spheres. V'yispashet misham, from there it spreads out. V'yikare hispashtus, when it comes down into our spheres. So part of this part is called charoin af, Hashem's anger. Charoin means heat, doesn't mean anger. Nahar dinur, charoin af, the heat of his nostrils, kiviyachol. Meaning that it's coming out in a way which is very painful and hurtful for us. It's coming out in pogroms and Holocaust. That's the charoin vayichar af Hashem vayoim hahu. So that's a din which the Tzadikim understood that maybe we could be mamtik this din. When we had the Beis Hamikdash, it was easier to be mamtik the din. Why? Because ubesoid vayarach Hashem is reach hanichoyach. Because the reach nichoyach of a korban, what's Hashem smelling here, is misakein the charoin af. Get it? Charoin af is the flame coming this way. Reach nichoyach is taking the reach of our maisim, our korbanos, our sacrifices, that which we're willing to sacrifice for our Kadosh Baruch Hu. Simple, right? It's not about a cow. It's about that which we are willing to sacrifice for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so that goes in the other nostril and blocks the charon af. So that's hamtakas hadin. A whole new understanding of karbanos we just did in 10 seconds.
So when we get back to that state of Binah, we're doing something to our whole system that changes our smell, actually. So when the Mashiach comes, he'll be able to smell the tzaddik.
Mashiach will be able to smell a chet.
That's what he does.
Yeah. Maroyach.
Right.
So what happens when we bring a carbon, again, carbonos we can still bring. It's easier with the Beis Hamikdash because we can do the whole thing with the smoke and everything. I was reading in the Sefer, I think, Tom Am and Hagim, it says that, when you put your, like, I don't know how everyone puts out their Havdalah candle differently. Some people put it in the wine, some people. But the concept is that it's supposed to be like a carbon, like a lot of smoke goes out, but if you're mamtik it with the yayin of the Havdalah, so the smoke goes out, it's like a strickle carbon. It's like you're sweetening making a reach nechayach. Why Havdalah? Why that candle? Interesting. So Yachzer Ayispashtis Ahu El Mekairoi V'Yuptaka Adinim. So here we have Hamtakas Adin. And what happens with Hamtakas Adin? Yishkoi Tacharoin. The heat cools. V'Yinochem Hashem Al Hara. That's what pasuk from what we say on a Tainus Tzibur, by the Egel. Vayinachem Hashem al hara asher ratza lasos li'amoy. Let's just take a break here, just talk for a few minutes. What does the word Vayinachem mean? Vayinachem Hashem al hara asher diber lasos la'amoy. That's the question. What's Vayinachem?
Comfort.
Huh?
Comfort.
That's what they say. So, let's think about it for a second. When Noach was born, Noach, Nacham.
They said it'll bring Nechama to it.
Zeh, it's a funny trump there. Yinachamenu mimaisa yadenu. Noach, hu yinachamenu, Rashi. Hu yinachamenu mimasa yadenu. What does it mean? That we did a chet, Adam Harishon did a chet with the Eitz Hadas. And we're waiting all the 10 dairos from Adam until Noach.
I never understood it. I understood this from the Chatan from that generation. Dafka going back to Adam.
That's what Rashi says.
Rashi says Dafka go.
Meaning that there's a nechama. Let's do a restart. Zeyin achamenu mimaasenu, he'll be masakin the chet of the Eitz Hadas. We're waiting for somebody to be masakin the chet of the Eitz Hadas. He didn't come through. Avram Avinu came through. Avram Avinu should have been called Noach. Ma bein Noach lavram. Rashi, first thing Rashi says to us about Avram. Ma bein Noach lavram. Ilu hoya. If Avram Avinu would have been in the door of Noach, would have been good, but he wasn't.
Also, this passage about the carbon is from Noah.
Yeah, Vayarech Hashem
That's
Reich
Noah's
Hanichayach.
carbon.
Right, the first carbon, or the first carbon that was acceptable. Reich Nichayach, Nichayach. Lashon Noach Chasa. Reich Nichayach. So when we talk about Zayinach Hamenu, then by the Mapul, if you look at the last pasuk in Bereshis, it says what? Vayinachem Hashem al kol Asher also, the opposite of by the Egel. So what is Vayinachem? Certainly doesn't mean he was comforted. It was mischarit. So Nacham means that you go back to the source and you're mamtik the din. Noach, there was a hope for Noach when Noach was born. They figured, not after 10 daughters, after 7 daughters, Shivasayim Yukam Kayin. So they figured that, okay, Shivasayim Yukam Kayin, the chet of Kayin is gone, 7 generations have passed, now Noach is born, and Noach, Hu Yinachamenu, he'll do the Nechama. What? He'll be able to perform the restart operation, the sacred operation of restart. He didn't do it because he didn't reach out to the people properly, so he didn't do it. There was a tinge of Noach is Tzadik, I'm not saying otherwise, but there was a tinge of selfishness there, self-preservation. So he didn't do it. But so what happened? Vayinachem Hashem al kol asher asa. Again, Vayinachem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu not just regretted, but Vayinachem Hashem, he reset. If you're not going to reset, I'm going to reset, and let's destroy the whole world. So here was the battle. Was it the Nechama of Noach, or was it the Nechama of Hashem because of the evil in that generation? So Vayinachem Hashem al kol asa. I'll call Asher Asa. He was Menachem, everything. So Nechama, let's learn a new word here. Lenachem doesn't mean to comfort. That's just an application. Lenachem, that's one thing you can do. But Lenachem b'mekor means to restart. Or we have a new thing here. Binah equals tshuva equals hamtakas hadinim equals nechama. I don't have the white book. Again, Binah equals tshuva, Zayar Parshas Nasai, equals hamtakas hadinim, because you're, and the tshuva is with dima, because dima is lashon damua, where everything is mixed in, and women are big in Binah because that's the nukva of the Bria. So Tizaher ba in the Gemara Bava Metzia Lam and Gimel. Tizaher ba oinas ishta. Don't give your wife pain. There's an isur deraisa of oinah to give your wife pain. Mipnei. Dimata Mitsuya. Right? Why? Because she's in Binah. So she has a lot of dima, and when you cause dima, you're doing over an isur deraisa. It's a tough law.
So one of the names of Mashiach is Menachem.
Menachem. Okay, we'll get to Menachem. But for sure, what's the Menachem? Restart.
Right.
Restart. So Nechama, stop learning it as comfort and learn it as restart equals Bina equals Hamtakas Adinim equals Tshuva. That's where we're going, and that's the Bechina of Nukva in this world. So consider this: the famous mission at the end of Makos, that the Gedolim came into the Malkum HaMikdash after the Churban, and they saw the Shualim Yelchuba, started to cry. Rabbi Kiva Hayim Mitzachek. Rabbi Kiva was laughing. Kiva Lama Tatzachek. How could you laugh at a time like this? Desolation. Lama Taboche. They said, what do you mean? Shualim Yelchuba. So the Kiva told them that's Shualim Yelchuba was a nevuah. That there will come a time, they knew, we've learned about this a number of times, that even Shlomo Melech knew. Kal v'chomer, the Bayesheni, they knew that when they were building it, that this is not meant to last forever. This is what I've been talking about in the Pirkei Avos. It wasn't meant to last forever. It was a nevuah. So there's another nevuah in Zechariah. So where it says that there will still come a time where Nashim Yeshvu B'Rechoves Yerushalayim with their children, and they'll be playing in the streets. Zakenim and Zakenois. There's another nevuah. That's why I'm laughing. So what did they say to him? Nichamtanu Akiva Nichamtanu. What was the nechama there? What was the nechama? The nechama was that, what are you crying about because you're going back to a nevuah of Yirmiyahu? What's the nevuah anyways? The nevuah is a gilui of the Dvar Hashem. So if you're going back to a gilui of the Dvar Hashem, I have another gilui of the Dvar Hashem, and I'm mamtik the dinim. I could be mamtik Yirmiyahu with Zechariah. Hamtokas hadinim. And that's Nichamtanu, Akiva Nichamtanu. You've changed everything for us. You restarted us. You rebooted us. You gave us a whole new future. This is not the end. This is the beginning. Nichamtanu, Akiva Nichamtanu. So that's the Nechama of the Tikkun of going back to the Dvar Hashem on a higher level, which Rabbi Kiva somehow was more capable of doing than even the other Gedolei Hador. Rabbi Kiva Yotze V'Shalom. So let me show you one thing before we finish. The Rambam in Hilchos Tshuva. 3 places, I think. Rambam Perek Beis of Hilchos Tshuva. Umahi Tshuva, basic. Umahi Tshuva. What is Tshuva? We know what Tshuva is. Tshuva is Binah. Binah is Hamtakas Adinim. Nechama. Mahi Tshuva. Sheyazev achoy techetoi v'yasir memachshavtoi. First thing, stop doing the chet. Behavioristic. V'yigmar b'liboy shlo yasayoi. That's Kabbalah Alos. Shenemar yazev rosha darkei. Now we all know that Kabbalah Alos is not good enough. What do you have to have? Charot al over. What's the lashon of the Rambam? V'chein yisnachem al shovar. Shenemar yachrei shuvei nichamti. Pasuk in Yirmiyahu Lamed Aleph. That it's not about having charata. It's about making nechama.
How come the order?
Binah. Kasha on the Rambam. I understand the Rambam, because the Rambam, it's not, because this is the way you do it. You start here, and then you go next for a deeper. So the first thing is stop doing the chet. You can't be a toivel v'sharis beyond it. Now that I stopped doing the chet, I'm in a place of, like you want the tshuva, first stop killing people. Okay, I stopped killing people. Now what? Not mischaret, yisnachem al sha'avar. Now the work begins. Huh? Kabbalah al-Asid comes first.
How could you go before you went back to the reset?
Because I could behavioristically change. I'm not going to kill.
I stopped, then asked, and asked it before I went to reset.
Right, because I'm saying I'm committed to this for the future. But now I got some deep work to do. How do I get rid of the chet from inside of me?
I'm not a different person yet.
I'm not a different person. You just stop doing it. In other words, you're going min hakal al kosher, or from a chut min achutz al apnim. So the most chitzonius thing to do is, okay, right now I'm not killing anybody. Are you ever going to kill anybody again? Kabbalah Allah said, I promise you I won't kill anybody again. Okay, is that going to, even if it lasts, does that mean that I've changed who I am? So here you've got to have not just charota al ovar, it's always quoted, but v'chein yisnachem al she'ovar, nichamtoni akiva nichamtoni. The noyach, zeh yinachamenu, I'm going back to the place of nechama, al she'ovar shenamar ki achri shuvi nichamti. Yeah. And then, says the Rambam, result, now Hashem, he who knows all the hiddenmost things, we went right back to Hashem. Now you're going back to the place of Binah. In the place of Binah, there will be a new edus that this person's never going to do a chet again. Why? Because this person's not this person. You can restart yourself in a whole different place. It's only a menorah. So this is a different kind of tshuva. The tshuva that everybody knows about is, I'm going to stop doing a chet. I feel bad I did a chet. I have charata. Okay. Rishayim malaim charata. Rishayim malaim charata. Nechama,
it's different.
It's a whole different idea of nechama. So nechama, and the Rambam also says, Perek Gimel, I think. Listen to this Rambam, the other way around. Kol mi shenichem al ha-mitzvahs. You have charota that you did mitzvahs. Shasa. V'toa al ha-schuyos. I was being stupid, what am I? V'yamar b'libay ma'hoi elti be'asiyosam halavai lo yasisi. Imagine such a person? I've seen him. Hareze ibeides kulam, you lost all of your mitzvahs. If a person ever says, you got to be careful with this, by the way, halacha l'maisa, like I shouldn't have given that tzedakah. If you gave this stuff, you gave this stuff. You should have never done that mitzvah. Wasted my time. Never have done a mitzvah, because then you lose it. You did it already. It's like it's not, even if you shouldn't have done it. Ein maskirin lo shum schus ba'olam shenamar tzidkas hatzadik lo tatzilenu b'yoyin pisha. Ein zeh alo b'toy ala rishonos. So the Rambam here is a new lashon, kol mi shenichem al ha-mitzvahs. It means that, let's say you went back into the place of Binah and you messed up. Instead of doing hamtakas hadin, you did mariras hachasodim. There's an opposite way of going here also, because once everything is a dema dimua, once everything's an irvuv, you can go this way, you can go that way. So the Rambam, it's like, yeah, like from Perek Bais to Perek Gimel, you could be misnachem ala averos, you could be misnachem ala mitzvahs. All a lotion of nichum. Well, so this is all going back to dahi bina, dahi shuva, dahi nechama. See, let me just halach l'maisa. What does it mean to be menachem avol? Nechamtani, Akiva nechamtani. What did Akiva do? He took the Gedolei Hadar, Arba nechnasu l'pardes. He took the Gedolei Hadar to a place where they weren't holding at that moment. They were holding and looking at the Chorban Beis HaMikdash. Tzadikim, looking at the Chorban Beis HaMikdash, and he says, let's go even a step further. Only Rabbi Akiva, with all of his goyness, was able to do this. Let's go back even further. Let's put it in a different kind of perspective. that it's all, what was he basically saying? Something so simple. That if you go back to Binah, everything's Min HaShamayim, yeah? So the same, one Navi says like this, one Navi says like that, but it's all Min HaShamayim. So once you come to all Min HaShamayim, okay, like that's a different story. It's a different place. So the pshat in being Menachem Avel is like in Shulchan Aruch in your day, like you go into an Avel and say, well, what do you expect? The guy dies on you. Look at the Averas that he did. Look at the Averas you did. It's an Isser no, it's an Isser Deraisa to do such a thing, even if it's true. But you're not allowed to do it. What can you do? What should you do? So Shulchan Aruch, tell him. Runs the world. It's difficult it's a difficult thing. There's a validation and the difficulty of what you're going through and what many people have gone through. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world, and just like he knows what he's doing, and just like there's things that manifest themselves as Chara and Af, there's also Reach Nichayach that goes up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and there's also Toiv that comes into this world, and we could be masaking it, and he should be a Meilitz Yosher for you, because by your loved one returning to the Borei Olam and changing the Binah, you're replacing Gufa, the energy which is coming into our lives. And Zui Nechama Shel Torah. That's what it says in Shulchan Aruch. This is the Nechama Shel Torah. It's about reminding a person that it's not all happening here. There's stuff happening here. You have to be skilled at this. They should give lessons in it. But that's Nechama. The last thing that you're allowed to do is be over. Many people. There's many people go into an Shiva house and they don't say anything because they don't know what to say, or they don't go to a Shiva house because they don't know what to say, too uncomfortable. So it's kedai to learn what to say. So you can do this without the mitzvah, but it's better to stay away if you're going to do it wrong. So many people go and say, well, maybe it's time for tshuva. It's usher to do that. But what is mutter to do, even though Nechama is a lashon of tshuva, but Nechama is a lashon of it's time to start again. It's time to get a new start. It's time to understand, we have to get ourselves together and go weiter, and with a new energy. That's Nechama. Nichum Avelum. The restart. Try to figure out that idea of restarting the Avelum. Okay. Is that?